All right, so I'm just going to do a quick explanation on how to access AWS from our Racq account. So if you log into Microsoft Office or Office 365, then on the top left, you should be able to see all the various applications. And hopefully you see AWS, but if you don't see Racq AWS, you can click on all apps. And then I think it's normally down the bottom somewhere. Okay, here, Racq AWS, then we can open that. And so what this will do, it would use your existing user account with Racq, and then it looks to see which AD groups you have been assigned to. So just for me, I've been assigned to all these groups, but the one of interest is this first one. So the Discovery Analytics. So this is our development account. You can see dev here. And so you just sign in. So there's no passwords or anything. It just logs you straight in. And then you would be greeted with this AWS console. Now, the thing that I wanted to just go over quickly is, okay, so we're logged into this AWS account, and everything that we do, it is generally charged in some way or form. So if we spin up a virtual machine, an EC2 machine, and we leave that running for a couple of days, then we're going to get charged for that, so a couple of dollars. So I just want to explain on how to actually see how much you're spending or how much the account is actually spending. So you're just aware. So on the top right, you see the billing dashboard. So if we open that one up, then you can see a breakdown of our monthly costs for this environment. Some of these costs are just development costs. We might have some development activities underway, and they're just ongoing running costs. So they have things like database migration service, so DMS. So that's when we're moving data from like S3 to DynamoDB. It's probably because we've got some existing services or development environments running that's running that service. Then things like VPC Cloud, that's VPC, so that's the kind of like LAN network in the cloud, in the AWS account, and those are things that are kind of fixed costs because they're not going to change their infrastructure costs. Some of the costs that we can change or have impact on are things like SageMaker and Lambda functions. So SageMaker is a pretty expensive service. So if you are using notebooks, it's best to turn them off when you're not using them. Or if we do have any endpoints that are running, just be mindful of what endpoints we are running. Turn them off if we're not using them because they do rack up costs over time. Okay, so you can see here, this is last month, this is to date. So to the current day in the month, this is where we're at, and this is at the end of the month, this is what it's likely to look at like. Okay, so this is $2,000 or likely $2,500. Now, if you want a further breakdown, you can click on details, and then you can see how this is all broken down. So you can click and expand. It goes by service and then by region, and then it'll explain the cost structure. So here you can see the API gateway, we get charged $3.50 every million requests. And so this is for the first billion for each month. And then you can see these are the amount of requests that we've done. So we've done 45,000 requests and we've been charged 16 cents, which is not all that much. And then you got things like Athena. Now we're not actually using Athena very heavily in development environment. Then you've got things like Cloudtrail. So Cloudtrail is just activity monitoring. Then you've got CloudWatch, Code Build. So that's what we're using to build our applications in the code pipeline process. Then we've got Comprehend. That's only $4. I think one of us have been testing something document classifier. All right. And then we've got database migration service. That's a bit pricey, but that's probably because we've got some workloads in development that are just running. Then we've got DynamoDB. We've got a couple of costs here. So yeah, so just be mindful of what you're using, what services you're using. If you're building something, it'd be great if you could just every now and then check in on this page, just check, okay, I've been using, let's say Redshift. Okay, how much is that actually costing? Do I actually need it? Do I need to leave it running, or is it something that I should go back, clean up? So at the moment, we do have a Redshift cluster. It's probably a very low spec instance, probably for development purposes. Here you've got SageMaker. Oh, we probably want to turn something off, but you can see how the SageMaker instances are charged. Different specs get charged at different rates and whatnot. So yeah, so just be mindful of that when you're using the development environment. It's not like all of our other infrastructure. So like with SAS and R and Redshift, those are just server-based environments where we are basically getting charged for uptime. Now, a lot of these services in AWS now is more based on consumption. So if the more you use it, so the more data that you read and write, the more Athena queries that you write, more data that gets processed, that's when you get charged more. All right, that's all. Thanks.